Hi there, it's Phil here, and I'm going to continue now with showing you how to use the remote KeyPad and NumPad Pro application on your iPad or your iOS device. If you're looking, you need to be looking for this icon, and it's the Pro version of the software that we're using because that gives us the ability to customize keys and build keys into the software, which is the thing that really makes it worth having at all. Obviously, you can use just the keypad if you want to, and what you would normally then be looking at is just this screen. That is the built-in numpad. That's all very nice and easy to use with your computer. If you are missing a numpad on your keyboard, then it makes it really worth using and is very, very useful, and can really save a lot of time just in entering figures in a spreadsheet, for instance. But what I want to do is kind of give you the ideas of how you might be able to build your own keyboard so that you build in a lot more of the functionality that you might see here. So you can see that I've got the normal keyboard, but I've built in quite a few other things such as cut, copy and paste, etc. So once you get your head around this, it opens up a wealth of possibilities, the possibilities that then enable you to do the same as me and build keyboards or keypads for all of the applications that you might use on a day-to-day basis and save you tons and tons of time. What I'll do now is I'm going to take you straight into the how to create a new keyboard and take you through some of the basic settings there. There are even more settings that I'll go through in other videos, but this will at least hopefully get you started off. The first thing you need to do is touch on the hamburger icon at the top right, and here we've got an option that says create. So click on that create button, and what happens then is you are then left with a blank slate of pluses, which is where you will actually store your first buttons. You can add more rows above, below, or to either side of this to create a really wide number of buttons that you might use in your applications. Obviously, the bigger the iPad, the more room you've got, and you want to make sure that you're using buttons in a nice spacing so that it makes it a lot nicer to use as well. And you can double up buttons as well. So if you want a really wide button, you can kind of combine three together to give you a bigger button, or indeed you can have one big button on the screen if you wanted to. So let's move on to how we actually get into doing this. So I'm going to actually bring in my screen view of I've got exactly the same view in my live iPad as I do have on the large screen in front of you. So I'm going to touch the top left button here. It brings up a new menu. Now what I want you to do is ignore in the first instance this edit and appearance, because they don't count because there's nothing to edit and the appearance hasn't been set. So what we're going to do first is set the keyboard shortcut. This is the first thing that you need to do when you are getting into the programming of numpad keys. Click on the keyboard shortcut, and what it then does is it brings up your keyboard as you might have it in front of you, and you can scroll around. You can see I'm just touching the screen, dragging it around, and indeed at one end you get a full numeric keypad around here that you can use, including the up and down, left and right arrows, home buttons, page up, page down, and a wide range of other keys. So let's keep it very simple to start with. Let's program a copy button. So hopefully most of us know that copy is Command C. So what I will do is literally touch the command button on the screen, and you can see at the top here that command button has appeared in the screen. So I've just touched that button there. If I now touch the C button, you'll see it arrive in the top. Now, because of the settings on the application, it's going to apply both of those as if they're pressed at the same time. That's one of the settings that we've used as in terms of the modifier keys. So once you've done that, you will then click on the Done button at the top right. And what we then see is NumPad presents the key as the combination of keys that you've entered. We don't really want to keep it as Command C, but what we'll do is we'll do copy here, we'll put a paste button just here. So let's tap on that plus button, do the keyboard shortcut. If you don't know, cut is Command X, and you can see how that's gone in there. Again, we click on the Done button, and then finally we'll do the button below. So in fact what we'll do is we'll make a big paste button. So let's firstly click on this plus button, click on the keyboard shortcut, and we will then do Command V, which is your paste command, Command V, and then Done. And now we can see that we've got all of those keys with just their commands underneath them. What we're going to do is rename them. We're going to call them copy, cut and paste, and then add this one to that one to give us a big paste button. So let's rename the copy button first. So we touch the copy button, and then we get a much bigger option of things that we can do. So what we're going to do is change the title just here. So if I touch that title area, it comes up and it shows me that the title at the moment is Command C. I'm going to click on that X button, which will delete all of that. Show you the live view again. And I'm literally on the keyboard that's presented to me on my iPad screen. I'm going to type in copy, but I want it to all be in capitals. And if you don't know how to do that, you tap on the Shift key twice quickly, and that makes it that icon, which means that all of these keys are now capitalized until you tap it once more to turn the capitalization off. So I'm now going to type in copy and click on the OK button. And now we can see it actually says copy on that button. Let's do the same for the cut and the paste. So we touch the cut button, go down to title, click on the X to delete what's in there now, double click on this Shift key and type in cut, and then OK. And we'll do the same for this button now. So we touch the button, we touch the title, we touch the X to remove that, double click on the Shift key, and then we will type paste and click on OK. So now we have our cut, copy and paste buttons. For the time being, what we're going to do is to save what we've got here. So what we then do is we click on the Done button at the top left hand side. You always need to hit the save changes in order to save any changes you've made to a keyboard. So anyway, for the time being, we're going to hit save changes. And our new keyboard appears over here. So if I touch that icon, there is our new keyboard. Now we can make additional changes to this keyboard from here if we want to. So I'll move on to a screen share where you can see my spreadsheet software, which is Apple's numbers, and we can type in a set of figures there. So I'll just show you the live view. If I type in some numbers, I'm going to use KeyPad to do that. So my keypad, if you remember, is the top left hand side. So I'm going to touch that right now. And that brings up the keyboard numbers. So let me do that, and I'll literally very quickly switch from that to that, and you'll see how quick I can actually do that. So let's type in a number first in the keyboard. Let's just make sure it's highlighted, and I'll type 780 and click away. If I then highlight that cell, I can then go over to here and click on copy. And if I now click on the next cell and do paste, you can see it's very quickly going to paste for me. So it simply does that. If I want to highlight a cell and click on cut, it will do the same. It cuts that out. And if I then click paste, it will paste that number into another cell on the spreadsheet. So that essentially very simply proves that your cut, copy and paste all work together for you. Then what you want to do is perhaps to merge the paste with another one underneath it to give you a much bigger paste button. So the trick here is the 2-finger tap on the iPad. So do a 2-finger tap and it immediately comes up with the editing screen on the keypad. So what I can now do is go to the top right hand side up here, the burger menu, and it actually gives me a merge split option. So if I tap merge split, click on the paste button and then click on the plus button here, and you'll see that they're highlighted together. If I go down to this button here, that will merge these two cells together. So I'll click on that button there, and that makes it a bigger button. So now to split a button that is across multiple pluses, maybe you want to split it up, you've found yourself without enough room. So you tap with 2 fingers on the screen. That brings you to the edit menu, as you know. We then go up to this icon and we touch it and click on merge split. Touch the button that you want to change. So if I touch that button there, it's very subtle, but what you'll actually see, this icon here, the one that you used to merge the buttons together, is now a split button. So I can touch that, and that gives me 2 individual paste buttons. So if I wanted to, just to highlight that again, if I wanted to merge them again, I touch those 2 and then click on that button. So it's a little bit fiddly, and that will then combine them. Of course, what we didn't do is click on the done button, save changes, and we're back to where we started. Let's tap with 2 fingers on the screen once more to show you a few more options. Obviously, we've now got a range of additional plus areas which are new buttons. If you wanted to add more buttons, then you would touch the plus button, which is just here, and that gives you the ability to add more rows or columns. So if I touch it, then you can add a row to the top, a row to the bottom, to the left or to the right. So let's add a row to the right. So I'll touch that icon there, and that's added another one. And if I touch again and add another one to the right, we can add another. And I'll just do one more for good measure. And you can see now that we've built up quite a lot of button spaces. And of course, these have got smaller because we need to squeeze them onto the screen of your iPad. So a bigger iPad really, of course, means that you get more room for your buttons. If I now click on the bin icon, which is just down here, bottom right, we can now remove rows if we want to. So let's remove a bottom row, and I'll click on the bin icon once more, and I'll remove one from the right and another one from the right. Personally, I think that you should be filling your iPad with keys because it makes it much more useful, but if you want to stay a little bit more minimalist, then you can. So I hope you found this of use and of interest. Of course, Remote KeyPad and NumPad Pro is available on the App Store. It's this icon that you need to be looking for. If you have any requests, put them in the comments. If you've liked this video, make sure you like and subscribe so you see the other additional videos that I'm going to be making about this software application to really help you improve the productivity on your Mac. Thanks for watching, and make sure you watch some of the others. Bye for now.